Alright, so I'm going to try recording this time. I'm hoping I'm recording through my headphones here. Hoping that's going to affect the efficacy of that. Hopefully it'll reduce a little bit of the wind noise. I'm not 100% sure. On my headphones, I was not feeling, I'm not hearing the wind noise as much, but on my car speakers when I was listening to when I was recording yesterday, I could hear a lot of it. So, you know, I don't know, if I do start doing anything like this, I will probably invest in like some sort of better microphone to do that, or some sort of, I'll record it and put it through an audio cleaner or something. I'll learn how to do that, or, you know, something like that. But anyways, so, I am coming back from the Alamo GT. It was a blast. It was a ton of fun. Moving little plastic men around and throwing dice is always a blast, right? First one since COVID, double jabs, Pfizer, what up? So, you know, that was nice. It was, you know, not gonna lie, it was interesting being out, you know, with people. I was in San Antonio. I was in the Riverwalk, and it was very, very weird being around that many people for the first time in a long time. So, you know, that's the thing, and that's probably why the Alamo GT was actually an RTT for KT. So, you know, that I have a feeling that has a big factor to it. It was only a 4-person tournament. It also was on a Friday starting at 3 p.m., which is, you know, a little bit of an awkward time for people to show up. That does kind of preclude like a lot of service industry staff, I'm sure. If people had jobs on Friday nights or something like that, that did kind of preclude it. Although again, you can, you know, I know you probably could request a day off, but you know, that COVID and the fact that it was the day before the big 40K tournament, that there were a lot of people setting up. A lot of people were, you know, poking around, looking at things. But I think that if they hadn't been setting up, this had been like the Alamo GT After Dark kind of thing. If it had been the drinks kind of, the drink friendly kind of one on like Saturday night that I was talking with Cesar about about like next year and stuff like that, and that the Friday Saturday night one would be have it be more, you know, I don't want it to be like a beer and pretzels kind of thing, because I do think that Kill Team is a lot more competitive than Big 40K, just because of the back and forth. It's a lot more tactical, I'm gonna say. There's a lot more 40K is a lot more logistical, and Kill Team is a lot more tactical. And so there was a lot of that. That I don't think that, you know, having people show up with their, you know, their big schooner glasses of a margarita or something like that, I'm not sure that's, you know, I'm not saying that that's not going to be fun, but I'm not saying that that's going to be the best thing, you know, showing up with the ones that goes around your neck, and, you know, you get the big straw in it and stuff like that. You know, that sounds like fun, but, you know, it doesn't seem like it's going to be you know, it's not something that we would necessarily need to do. But, you know, we'll see what happens, right? But I think those were all factors that led to it being a 4-man tournament. There were 4 of us. It was myself, Clay Pierce, from who was on the Discord, and Samger. Sam is also on the Discord, and a new player to the tournament scene. It was his first tournament, by the name of Anthony. I brought my Astartes. Clay did bring his demons, as he had been talking about. I would have liked to have seen his Astra Militarum, but I think his he won with his demons. So, you know, good job, Clay. So, you know, he saw the packet, he indicated he won. Sam took the opportunity and brought his custodes, and he was going to bring a towel list apparently, but the package got lost, and so they didn't arrive in time, and so, you know, he had no, he didn't want to bring drone spam. He wanted to bring a Ford Crisis build. That would have been really interesting. I think if he had brought it, I would have won. But we'll get to that later. And then the other player, Anthony, he brought a Cabalite list with a bunch of incubi. Looked like he had gotten either half of the Rising Phoenix kit, or I don't know if those new Cabalites or the new incubi are up for sale yet, but yeah, he was using like the Demiclaves to mark out specialists and things like that, so it worked out really well. The specialists and stuff like that, so and yeah, I guess I should go over the lists, right? So yes, I brought my Astartes list. I spoke about that in the other video. I ended up running basically 2 versions of the lists of my roster that I had. Against the demons and the Drukhari, I brought a very flamer heavy list, which was my Terminator Sergeant Leader, like I said. I brought the Combat Blade Guard with the Neo Volkite, Blade Guard Sergeant. I brought a Demolition Specialist, Veteran Sergeant with dual Combi Flamers and Chainsword. And then my other specialist was a Medic Specialist with Bolt Pistol, Hand Flamer, and Power Sword. I brought the Power Sword because in one of the Command Point videos, I think it was Shane and Baronet talking about New Marines, or was it a Killzone podcast? I think it was a Killzone podcast with one of the last Killzones, where Baronet and Shane started talking about the Marines, and they mentioned that they thought with the new Power Sword that would be a good value build on the Medic Intercessors, or on the Intercessors, it was a point saving thing. I could have brought the Chain Sword, but I think the Power Sword ended up working out really well against like the Incubi, and I'll talk more about that when we get to my games. But that was my those were my specialists. I brought a non-specialist Terminator Heavy Flamer, Terminator Gunner with Heavy Flamer. I brought a non-specialist Assault Sergeant Intercessor with Hand Flamer and Chainsword. I brought a Scout Sergeant with Combi Flamer and Chainsword. And I brought a Heavy Intercessor with a Hellstorm Bolt Rifle, the Auto 3. And so those were, or Assault 3 rather. So that was my list. It was a volume of fire one. I wanted the flamers to discourage charges. And I wanted to get as many options to shoot flamers as I could for demons. Just because it was D6, even the hand flamers, D6 shots. Because I knew I was going to get stuck in, and so long as I could do that, things were going to be pretty good on that. And that was the one list. Against the other list I brought was against Custodes, and I'll talk more about why. I'm not sure I did that right, but it was same Terminator Leader, and then Blade Guard Combat Specialist, Neo Volkite Sergeant. I brought the Relic Blade Storm Shield Jump Pack, and he was a Zealot, and I'll talk more about what he did. But yeah, he was a Zealot, and then I brought, who else did I bring in that last one? Who did I bring against? There's probably another specialist, probably a sniper specialist. Oh yes, my Eliminator Sergeant, sniper specialist, with the bolt rifle. And then I brought a scout sergeant with dual plasmas, and a tac sergeant with dual plasmas, and an Auspex, and a heavy intercessor with the regular heavy bolt rifle, the rapid fire one. And then and a non-specialist blade guard. That was my other roster that I brought, or my other list out of my roster that I ended up fielding. I'll talk a little bit more about some things I could have done differently, and if I do end up going to Lone Star, I might do one or two things differently. So that was my roster. Clay had it was all demon. They brought demons. He had an opportunity to do a mixed a soup, but so he did have a plague bearer leader, and I think 3 specialist corn demons, the bloodletters. I think they were like all combat, zealot, veteran specialists, all the things to get up in your face. But he ended up not taking them he ended up going mono Zinch to get the sub-faction bonus, which, makes a lot of sense. Let's see, I had to get to 9 models to break him. So I think he had like 17 pinks. That doesn't seem right. 16 pinks? Because you have to get more than half, right? So 16 pinks and then 4 others, right? That sounds right. But I think I had to get to 9 to break him, which I did. But that was a challenge. But yeah, 16 pinks is I think what he ended up bringing. And then Sam brought basically you take a shield custodian and you run through all the different specialisms, and then you take a spear custodian and run through all the specialisms. Then you take an Alaris custodian and you run through all the specialisms, and that's the roster. I mean, that's how you build custodians, right? So yeah, I think he had like 5 shield guys, 5 spear guys. No, he had to have 6. He had 6 shield guys, probably 6 spear guys, and an Alaris. And so they were all basically just all the specialisms. Against me, he only ran shields. Against the demons, he ran spears. I do not believe he actually fielded the Alaris, but in any of the games. And then the Drakari player, like I said, had a Kabalite list. So he had the Blaster and the Dark Lance. So, that was he had the Dark Lance and the Blaster, like you expect. The leader had the whatchamacallit, whatever the Kabalite leader is called. I forget what he's called. He's not an Archon. But he had the whip thingy and the blast pistol, I think. And so that was interesting. To actually see him to do the blast pistol. The blast pistol did actually come up, but that's because he had like 4 or 5 incubi on there, and so that was let's see, yeah, I think he had like 5 incubi. So that was an interesting one. And I'll talk about that. And actually, yeah, I can start talking about that in the first game. because I paired up with him first game. I think it was because BCP does not normally like to pair up people from the same team on round one, and Clay and I had both put down the Texas Discord as our team names. So yeah, that's how we got split. So I faced off against Anthony, and Clay faced off against Sam. And so turn one, it was a, let me think, it was not, was it the wedge deployment? I can't remember which deployment it was, but it was a short edge. There was a long edge deployment. There was a single, there were two what were called the mini Alamos, because for the big kill team tournament they had a big Alamo, and then these ones were the mini Alamos, and then they had the Alamo Micros, which are even smaller scatter trains. But they had two of the mini Alamos, and then we placed the micro Alamos. I think the terrain placement was pretty good. There was he put some terrain on the central objective, and I placed some scatter terrain around, or some of the other terrains around, to kind of give like different zones. He was playing a little, not aggressively, but a little. Yeah, you could tell it was his first tournament, and that he probably didn't play a lot of competitive kill team. So as I think I won initiative. No, I think he won initiative, the first one, and I was able to move my guys into position. I did a Terminator drop of the heavy flamer, and got lined up on things. He did get a shot back with his whatchamacallit, his Dark Lance, but I did save the 5-up on that one, and so that worked out pretty well for me. And the secondaries I took for that one was Lead from the Front, Domination, and Bounty Hunters, I believe. He had taken like Cut Apart, I want to say something like high profile targets and Cut Off the Head, something along those lines. And the Incubi were, they are definitely devastating, and at 200 points, bringing like 5 of them, that's a lot. I think he could have probably maximized his list a little better. He was not running the flayed skulls. He was running the one that we rolled ones for the poison weapons, so that wasn't, we know that's not the most effective meta list, so that's another way I knew he was not big into the tournament scene. And so that, turn one I was able to move around. I think I did get a kill with my flamer, my Terminator flamer. My demolitions with the combi weapon moved onto a point, and he basically just stayed there. He was hidden for most of the game, so that was less than ideal. My leader did capture the center, and then turn two, I did get a charge off of my leader, and got in, but into like 4 different Incubi. What was an issue, so I did get all my attacks off, and I killed like 3 Incubi. I missed one, I did activate lead from the front. I missed one, and then that one did take me out. I think he got a 6 on the wound roll, so that was the 3 damage. And so yeah, even though it's a Terminator, 3 damage is 3 damage. So the volume of attacks that the Incubi can put out are still a big challenge for Marines. You know, even though we got all these 3 wound models, you know, there's a lot of 3 damage or, you know, multi-damage out there that can still do some work, right? So Marines are not just the easy button, right? You don't just show up with your Marines and then not care what the dice do. You still do have to play tactically. And so I end up losing my leader turn 2, which did, you know, I didn't get a chance to max out my secondaries that one. The final score was 17 to like 6. I did manage to keep getting domination. I did max bounty. I did max domination. I did, and I got 2 from cut off the head, or not cut off the head, from lead from the front. I could have been probably more aggressive in that one. I wonder if I do have what it takes to be a full tournament player, because I find myself holding back a little bit, especially when I'm playing against new players or when people are having poor dice. I find myself kind of not wanting to. I find myself, you know, pulling back. I don't go for the kill, and I think that did end up hurting me in this tournament. I needed to be a lot more bloodthirsty. So not to, you know, yeah, that's. I think that's a little part of it. Game 2, so I won that one, and then Clay won his match against demons, against custodians rather. With his demons, he, you know, outbodied him, and the custodian guard just could not kill him. And that's the way that one went. So then I faced up against him round 2. Round 2 was an interesting one because rounds 2 and 4, the range on your weapons were cut down by half. And then, so my flamers were at half range. So that was an interesting one because I did bring the flamer list, but you know, having only a 6-inch flamer, it, you know, it does things, right? It reduces some of the efficacy. This one went to time. We only got to round 3 before it was diced down. Oh, and that's the other thing. It had been advertised as 1 hour, but we actually did end up getting an hour and a half. I don't know if it was how that change happened. I found out about this after the fact, because when I was in there, I was gone. I was in the zone. I was not paying attention to time. You come out of these tournaments and, you know, you just feel like I have no idea, right? Like it is no, you know, it's you're like, what year is it? You know, have I gone back in time? Is it 2001? I have to warn people, you know, did it work? Kind of thing. And you just wake up out of it after you get done with these brought his horror spam. That's all he ran during the tournament. This one was a long edge, short edge deployment, and that also was interesting. If I remember right, it was actually, you know what? It was a corner deployment. So where we were on this short edge of the board, but we were in 2 squares on each side, right? So we did deploy, but so it was long edge deployment, but we had to split our forces in 2, which I think worked out for me, because then I could place, my flamers on both sides of the board edge and just walk them up. Clay did, I think I won initiative on that one. I can't recall now who won initiatives more often than not. I think I won most of the initiatives actually against Drakari. Actually, I think I won all the initiative against Drakari. On this one, I cannot remember the initiative orders. No, he went. Yes, he did go second. But he did do a veteran move. And his he got like a 6 or something on his veteran move, and so he got all the way, right? Which got him in charge range of my Terminator turn 1, and I did charge him. But also, he got an Overwatch through. I rolled a 1 on my save, and so I went from having 3 wounds down to 2 wounds. And that, that also was another one of those things that those mortal wounds that made it more difficult, because now I was not immune to cybolts, and then I think he did cybolt me that round as well into my leader. Like turn 1, I was down. My Terminator was down to 1 wound after turn 1, and so that was a lot of that was kind of scary, because again I took the lead from the front as my secondaries, and so there was I had to like fall them back. There was a lot of tactical movement that was happening in these games, right? And so that's why I think that's why that one went to time. My combi flamer and assault sergeant with my dual combi flamers and an assault sergeant with whatchamacallit, hand flamer were on another point, and they were just popping demons left and right. That was amazing, the amount of volume of fire I was able to put down there, even with the 6-inch range. It was great. We ran out of bounty tokens. I mean, they were just scattered. Like, it looked like we were using them to make terrain, just how many bounty tokens we had there. So I did win that one. That was a 17-point game, I think, for me. 17 points there. So almost max score. No, I did max the scores on against Drakari. Yeah, max, because it's what? No, it's 9 and 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. Yes. So I did max. I got 17. So no, 16. Yeah, I was 16 on this one. So 17, 16, 16. There we go. Those are my wins. So this one was a 16. So I maxed all my secondaries, and I got 7 on the primaries because of going only to turn 3. If we would have gone to turn 2, turn 4 rather, I would have maxed, but because I did break it, I did manage to get all the I got 9 pinks now, which was amazing. just within 6 inches of the leader. Clay made all of his in-bone saves on that one. I think I rolled like a 2 on the flamer shots. So he kept his leader alive. So that made a big difference. And then yeah, that's where that one went to. But yeah, so if I had broken his leader, I think that would have made a difference there. But yeah, I just kept killing more, and I maxed my secondaries, and that's how I was able to do that. So that was my plan. And so I had that plan and I executed it. Round 3. I had said I wanted to get practice on Cascodes going in. I had not gotten the practice before against Cascodes before going in, and it showed. Also, Sam had hot dice. I think he was rolling 3s basically on everything. I saw, like his lowest dice roll was a 3, except for one time. But he was rolling so many 6s. But he got, there was one time he rolled triple 1s. But it would, no, 2 times. No, even then that was a 3. Okay. So, I fielded my list. I brought the double plasma pistols, because salamanders, I was thinking, I can strength 7, AP minus 3 is still, 2 strength 7, AP minus 3 shots is still a good shot against a custodian. To just plink them off, one wound, right? So there's there's that. But in retrospect, I'm not sure I should have done it, but I had to, because it's, bringing the gunslingers to the Alamo. Oh, that felt so good. But yeah, I needed more testing with them. And again, I really like that double gun, the 2 injury rolls. It does a lot of work. Yeah, I need to do more testing with them. I probably should have swapped them out for another blade guard, maybe, and that might have done some things. But the other thing is, I could not make a 4-up save for the life of me. On that one, my 4-ups were just nowhere to be found. Yeah, it was brutal. And whereas Sam just kept rolling hot. And yeah, Custodes are really bad at this 200-point format, because the Storm Shield gives them the reason the kill team is back, Storm Shield gives it a 3-up, or a 4-up rather. Sub-faction bonus gives them, lets them add to that, so they can add +1 to their invulnerable saves, up to a 3-up, right? So they still get their 3-up Storm Shield save, and then they get then the Storm Shield adds 1 to their saving throws, and they're already wearing Terminator armor, right? So they get a 1-up armor save, which, of course, they always fail on them all, but, you need AP2 to push them to that 3-up save. And so that is just disgusting and brutal, and I hate it. And that's why I brought the regular the heavy bolt rifle instead of the auto bolt rifle, right? Because I was thinking that I was going to that AP-1 would actually do something and, you know, push him to like a 3-up, right? No. Yeah. So, you know, there was that. So, you know, less than ideal. And then the secondaries, I could have done better. I only scored 8 points that game. I kind of split the difference there, and I took domination and lead from the front. That was a bad idea. I'm sorry, I did take lead from the front, but I took domination and recon sweep, or whatever the one is where you get to the enemy deployment zone. Oh, and that's the other thing. It was a short edge deployment or a long edge deployment, and so we were, you know, right there, real close to everybody. So, you know, there was that too. So, you know, great. So another one of those terrible, you know, matchups in this one. If we'd had the one I did against Clay, that would have been an interesting one to go up against Custodes. I don't know what I would have done. But yeah, just the secondaries were poorly chosen. I took lead from the front thinking, okay, either I will, you know, I will get in and I can hopefully, you know, force the injury through on the thing if I, you know, gang up on him with the blade guards, and the Terminator, and so, you know, put the Terminator in, have him do all of his attacks, and then do lead from the front. That's at least one, and then if I do that and I kill, then, you know, I can try to do that again, and get, you know, 1 to 2 points on lead from the front. But I whiffed, or not that I whiffed. Sam got, I whiffed on my saves, and Sam made all of his 3-ups. It was, you know, and then he killed off my combat. He had charged my sniper, and so I had retreated him back to get him into an easier charge range. I'm like, all right, I'll sacrifice the sniper to get him in charge range of all my blade guards and the Terminator. But he, yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, that's another point about that, is that the way the board was deployed. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have taken but I didn't have any other specialists that would have done anything better, I think. So again, that's one of the things where I think I needed a little bit more testing. Maybe another a veteran jump pack would have been a better one, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, because I couldn't use the forward position deployment to get anywhere that was good. Because I couldn't deploy on the center because I was too close to that was within 9 inches of the deployment zone. Yeah, it was. There's no real place to deploy scored, you know, at least once or twice. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things. I should have probably gone just purely melee. Just brought the blade guards, gone vicious assault, and then tried to and maybe take one cut apart, you know, and try to score that one once. And maybe a bounty, and just something like that to get. But yeah, I need to test against Custodes because, yeah, no. Last game I played against Anthony again. This is getting long. It's 41 minutes already. Oh god. So that one, same kind of deployment. That one was another long edge deployment, short edge deployment rather, because I think we did have to get up the field, and that one the ranges were halved again. Took the same team against him. He only had the one team, so he brought that against me. And again, that was a 16-point game. I did max my secondaries, but he made his. So the Thunderhammer has an AP -2 now. He made a lot of 5s and 6s with his incubi. This time I managed to keep my leader alive. But I had to marshal my CP a lot of times because I couldn't. He just made those 5s and 6s, the power sword. I had my medic with the power sword, and he made a lot of the FMPs, whatever the inert to pain or whatever the 6-up feel no pain is, right? So he made a bunch of those that hurt me on that scale, and so that didn't hurt me, but they hurt my score because that stopped me from maxing. But I did max. I maxed my secondaries. I maxed bounty. I maxed domination. I maxed lead from the front. But I didn't kill more 2 turns. So